Hello.
Hello.
Let's see who's here. Nadia, Fatima, how you guys?
Hi.
Hi.
How you doing?
Good.
Fatima, are you okay? Did you? I know we were trying to go back and forth and find a time and stuff happened. Do you still need to talk? What's going on?
You know, I was. Oh, shit. Okay, I will talk later.
Yeah,
Then.
yeah. Don't. You've got more important things to do. Yeah.
Hi.
Hey, Susanna. But if you're still there, Fatima, I've got 3 appointments this afternoon too. So it's that end of the semester.
No, thank you, Jeff. I'm okay.
You're okay? Okay.
Yeah, I read it again.
Okay,
Yeah.
good. Okay,
Yeah.
good.
What did you do at 400 words for the second summary? Oh my God.
Too much, too few or too many?
No, it was a lot. I literally, okay, the first one, I got it, I did it. But the second one, oh my God, I'm writing it's 233 and then I'm changing it to 260 something.
Okay.
I was like, oh my goodness, why is it not going? I was like literally suffering. Like in the point, I just wanted to text you. I was like, can we just do like less?
Yeah.
Or
Always, you know,
I agree with you, Susan. Hi, everybody.
well, you know, my answer is always like, I always sort of, you know, the words is really just for students who, it's not a problem for many of you guys, but it's just for students who don't want to do the work, right? It's like, well, I did it, and then it's 2 sentences, you know? So if you really feel like, you know, you've got a 300-word summary or whatever that is really good and clear, you know, that's fine. That's fine with me. I mean, very rarely do I actually count words. I count words when it looks very short and the student's like, no, teacher, I worked so hard. And I'm like, did you? Did you really?
I made it to 400 words.
Hey.
I made it, but it was the 3rd time. So I tried. I tried very hard, but
I love it.
I'm waiting for the response because I don't know what I did.
I love
the
it.
summary or it's a lot, but you know, I tried.
I love it. That's all. And you know, that's,
to be honest, I like 266 or in 233 more than 400.
fair enough. And you know what, Susanna, like truly, and this is for everybody, what you just said is like as a teacher, it's my favorite thing to hear is like, I sort of give you guys instructions and a guide, and then you kind of go, you know, you figure it out, like what works for you, what doesn't work for you. And I love Susanna being confident, like, well, I like 260 better.
Yeah.
Great. I mean, like, because like I've said all the time, you know, like we're at community college in the United States, grades are important, blah, blah, blah. But, you know, like learning. I sound sometimes like I don't know, like a little corny, or corny just feels like it's almost like an old movie. It feels like, oh, that's so sweet. But like, I really just feel like learning is its own reward. And when I hear a student say what you just did, Suzanne, is like, oh man, like I sat there and I worked really hard and I tried to figure it out. And I'm not 100% confident, but I kind of learned. That's the whole thing, man. That's the whole thing. Especially when we're not in the classroom together, you know, like you kind of have to do it on your own. So I'm not happy that you were suffering, but I'm happy that you had the experience, you know, that you did it.
I was mad.
Are you talking about final project or response?
I think so, yeah. Susanna, you were talking about the part 4, right? Section 4.
Yes, yeah, I hope so. My God, now I have to find it because I have so much hyper focus now in my. I swear, I did so much Word documents together.
You're getting ready for university. Anyone who wants to get a bachelor's degree, you guys, all this is, you're getting ready.
Honestly, yesterday I had a meeting with my counselor and I was so happy because finally I was able to figure out what classes do I need to take. And you know, I also purchased 2 ECE classes and she was like, you're done with ECE. I was like, oh, really? She's like, yeah, you're done. It's like only the, general education classes that you need to take and you're done. I was like, oh my God. And I could not believe it.
Congratulations.
So good.
Oh,
I'm so happy. It's like kind of moving. I feel like I stuck for a long time.
Congratulations. That's fantastic.
And
There's
then
a
I did the ESL 350 with you.
oh yeah. Right now it's a very small class.
Yeah.
I hope that we still get to keep it because if it's only 12 students right now. If it's only 12, it'll be really fun. It'll be really interesting.
I think it was a lot.
I don't know. It's very small. My 325's already got more students than this semester, and my grammar class is pretty good. But 350 is a little low right now, so I don't know what's going on.
Yeah,
Today is holiday,
like
Professor.
before.
I
Today is
know, happy Eid. I was gonna say when we had more people, the end of Ramadan, you got to eat breakfast this morning. Happy
yeah.
Eid, happy Eid.
Thank you.
You're gonna have pudding
Thank you.
tonight and sweets and candy and see your family.
Yeah,
That's fantastic.
yeah. That's why maybe people busy.
Yeah, so that's and Angela. I'll say for anybody who's Sabzina, well, I'm just going to see Sabzina in the office hours, but yeah, take care of yourselves, right? Today, so I'll just say kind of right up front, today's the last day. So really, I want today to kind of be a student kind of question and answer day, right? So if, especially for my wonderful students who are celebrating Eid, if you feel like you've got better stuff to do, that's all good. That's all good.
Oh,
Today,
thank you. Yeah, that's why I just want to come. I know what's happened
oh,
because
get out of here. Get out of
I'm
here.
gonna move. I have to do something.
Go, you probably got stuff to get ready or family,
Right,
you got
right,
kids
right.
to get dressed and washed and food to make and stuff. So then
Yeah.
I'll just say, Angela, Khatima, Sabzina, anybody else who's celebrating Eid, you are wonderful. Thank you so much for being in this
Yeah.
class this semester. And that's it. If you have questions,
Yeah.
you can email me and let me know. But today's class is really just going to be like a workshop.
Thank you so much. I appreciate for your hard work. I'm so happy that in this class, I will wait to get another class with you.
I
I'm
would
so happy.
love
Thank you.
I would love that. Man, I love to hear students. I love happy students, Angela. So thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you. You have a great day.
You too have a great Eid.
Yeah, thank you. Bye.
And Sabzina, same thing. I know
Know
I'll see you.
everything about the Eid.
What I know everything. I know like again, like I said, I think just I know like this much about Muslim culture. It's just that most Americans know zero about Muslim culture. So I think that's the only reason I know just enough. I know just enough.
More than
More
like
than a lot of Americans. I think you're
yeah.
right there. I will take that. I will agree with that. I will agree with that. Yeah, go take care of whatever people got to do, whatever people got to do. Who else? I see Reina's here. And I think, of course, I had that same thought like Angela was saying, of course it's Eid. So, and attendance is not mandatory. So a lot of people being like, I'm good. Who else? So Sabzina, I need to send you the Zoom link, but 2:30, we're good for 2:30. Nadia, I got your email with your document. So I think I still just want to look at it myself and email it to you, if that's okay. I'll email it to you today, I promise.
okay. Okay. Thank you.
Promise.
I want to ask about
I
that.
promise, I promise. Sabzina says, okay, thank you, great. Katima says, I might write 200 words. Katima, I love you, Katima. I will pray for you in W340. Just pray you get a teacher that says, some teachers are a little stricter than me, Katima. That's my only warning to you. Cool. Well, like I said, today I'd love if people have examples or if people want to look at examples. I've got Katima's got the laughing emojis. I've got Nadia's paper too. I started to look at it this morning, but we could look at that too. So I just wanted to jump right into it. Like, Susanna, do you want to look at what you've got and talk about it? Great.
Yes, I do.
Let me make sure I can let everybody share. And this is true for everybody who's here, right? Angela, Fatima, Reina, if you guys have examples or if you're like, Jeff, does this look good? Let's look at it right now because today, like I said, my dream is that this is just a class for you guys to get to ask as specific questions as possible. Okay, Susanna, you're free to share.
Yeah. Can you see it?
I got it.
Okay, so I did the bullet points as you suggested.
Yeah.
The way it is. I don't know, should I just scroll down or?
Yeah, well, I guess, usually, so I'll say this with anybody too, if you guys have your documents or you want to look at stuff, the more specific the question, the better from you. So Susanna, do you have any questions about this
Yes,
first section?
not the first one, but I had a question about the section 4,
I love it.
and what I wanted to ask, where is it? I'm just gonna see. I kind of start the conversation, the whatever I write, it was like using the words you, people.
Mm,
I switched it. I mean, not you like personal, but I just want specific. What was it?
mm. This was when you were asking about the pronouns, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He notes that if you manage your attention effectively, you will get more things done and feel more control. Like, let's say here, like, is it like,
I'll say this. For me, not a problem. When you go to write a research paper in W340 or in English 300, whatever you choose to do, just remember the basic rule for academic college writing is
you
the
cannot
rule that they'll hit students with, is like never use the second person, never use you, never use we, never use our. But again, it's so funny, right, Susanna? Because here's it's not the most successful book in the world, but it's a very successful book with a successful author, and and he's using the second person pronoun in the book. So again, just remember, college rules for writing are just that. They're very specific to American college writing. So that's why I want to make sure that you guys understand that that's kind of a style choice, but it is important at US University. So that's the most important thing.
What about if I kind of change it? He knows that managing attention effectively will get more things done.
Yeah, will help. I always say like will help people or help others. I mean, you could then you're just using different sort of nouns here. Will help people get more things done and more control. Also, it helps. It helps. It can help people understand. It can help people understand their limits. Something like that.
I'll just put the people.
Yeah, it can help. It can help people understand their limits, and a little bit it is useful. I mean, like just from a grammar and language, since this is an ESL class, even though I kind of teach it, I'm sort of in the middle between ESL and regular English. It's good practice with pronouns, switching pronouns. So
The only reason, and this
I'm ready.
only here that I use the word you because
Yeah.
of word count. I swear. I know it is not right. And I know it. That's why I was like, oh my God, I need to make it. And if you see it, I just like counted. It's 401 word.
I love it.
It's like
I
I'm
love
done. But
I
that's
love
the
it.
reason that I kind of changed it to you kind of, extend it, which I know it's not right, but I didn't know what to do.
No, it's all good. I love it. And can I say one other small thing, Susanna, and this is for everybody. I'm going to annotate. I'm going to draw on the screen for a second here. This is something that this is so American. When I was teaching in South America, when I'm teaching students anywhere, they're like, this is the weirdest thing about American writing. Okay, see this? Hold on, you should see it in a minute. See this section where you can choose, this is called justification, right? So I know I said Times New Roman, 12-point font, double spaced. Susanna's got that perfect, right? But this is what I think most other countries all over the world use this one that Susanna's got. US college wants this one, left justified. So you want to select all the text. So you can hold control on your keyboard. If you just hold CTRL, hit control and then hit A, that will select all of the text, control A, and then left justify. And oh my God, not just in South America, but especially my students from Korea and Japan, they're like, oh, Jeff, it looks so ugly. I hate it so much.
No, it's honestly, I just like because of it was so neat and nice. That's why I
Yeah.
took
No, like I said, I don't have a strong opinion on it. I just know that many of the students that I work with do. And again, I'm not saying this is the best way. I'm just saying this is how US colleges want it. You know what I mean?
And it's good to know because it's always useful.
Yeah, and that's called that's again, I'll put this in the slide for you guys to look at, but that's called left justified. Left justified. Let's look at
Also, what about the citation? So I
perfect.
cite
Oh, yeah, period. But yeah, you had it period after the last parentheses.
Yeah.
Hey, Layla. I'm going to mute you, Layla. It's not personal. Another thing that students often feel like looks so strange, but yes, this is when you go to 340, when you go to 300 and study MLA citations, it's basically this, right? Parenthesis, excuse me, open parenthesis, author last name, page number, close parenthesis, and then the punctuation. So exactly as Susanna's got it. This is again just sort of planting the seed for when you go to the next semester. This is what you do. This is MLA formatting for in-text citations.
And for that in text, I just used the reference, and I just went there and I did the citation.
Nice, yeah, nice
citation. But
perfect.
Yeah, I was
more and more perfect. I was going to say more and more when I about 2 or 3 years ago, maybe when I was teaching works cited pages and stuff, the students basically were like, you know, Jeff, there's like 20 websites you can go to that it'll do it for you. So I think that makes perfect sense. Can we look at your summary that you were saying? How many words? Too many words? Can we just read it, the whole thing?
Yeah, I hate that.
Oh, dang. We should talk about why. Do you want to read it out loud, or you want me to?
Whatever you want.
No, whatever you want.
I'm good with everything.
Okay, you read it then.
The book Hyperfocus Bailey argues about the importance of both scatter focus and hyperfocus. He explains that hyperfocus is a support link to finish a lot of tasks for an instant. At the same time, scatter focus enables people to connect ideas, discover hidden awareness, become more creative, plan ahead of time, and take breaks. As he suggests, integrating both hyperfocus and scatter focus into daily life can help individuals focus when needed, rest when needed, enabling people to work and live with purpose.
Ooh, let's pause and just talk about it. I'll let Susanna talk about it in a second. But what do you guys notice? Anybody want to say what stands out? What do they see? What do they think? What looks good? Any students? I'll tell you what I think, Susanna. But anybody want to tell me what they think when they see Susanna's first paragraph? Nadia, what do you think?
Don't know.
Fatima?
Yeah, maybe. I think she don't need the he.
Oh, okay. Fatima's also thinking about pronouns, but I think Susanna, tell us, he, that pronoun connects back to who?
The Billy.
Yes. Okay, good, Fatima. So the pronoun's still clear. You've got it, the pronoun, but you don't like that pronoun there, huh?
Yeah, maybe instead of pronoun, she used his name.
Again, interesting. Fatima, really interesting idea. Now, this is, I'll say this, Susanna. The way you have it is right and works. Katima's suggestion would also work. Now, and this is partly about a little bit of a feeling thing, right? Because Susanna uses the author's name in sentence 1, then doesn't use the author's name in sentence 2.
I have the name.
Now, but again, it still made sense to me, Susanna. I didn't even think that. And I'm obsessed with pronoun stuff. So
two he after each other, that's right.
Interesting. I still think, like I said, I love Katima's suggestion, and Susanna, it didn't look or feel wrong to me either at all, just so you know. I love it. I wasn't even thinking pronouns. Thank you, Katima. Anybody else? Katima went sort of focused on details, so I love that. Anybody notice details or big picture ideas? or should Jeff just talk?
Maybe plan.
Plan where?
Yeah. And plan ahead of time and take a break.
You don't like plan ahead because it's underlined by Microsoft Word? I'm teasing, Fatima.
I'm
I
not
will
sure.
say, oh, it's all good. I will say, I suspect, my guess is that Microsoft Word underlined that because this is a long list, but long lists don't bother me, and long lists are very normal in academic writing, right?
Yeah. So just
I see no problem with this at all, Susanna. Okay, if anybody else, I'm ready to share I've been patient. I'm ready to say, I think it's fantastic. I think if we think about the structure of writing, right? We talked about this the last 2 weeks in a lot of detail, right? If you look at, and I spent too much time probably talking about this last week, right? But part of the reading strategies that I asked you to practice this semester is to help you become aware of what the writer is doing, right? Not only what the writer is saying, but what the writer is doing and attempting to do with their structure. Here we have a great example of that in Susanna's first paragraph. In the first sentence, she introduces the topic, right? She introduces, hey, I'm going to write about this book. Now, we're all in this class. We know that, right? But imagine Susanna handed this to someone in her family or a friend or someone else, right? Even if they've never read anything about this book that we've been reading for 2 months, they would understand, okay, there's a book. It's called Hyperfocus. The author's last name is Bailey, and she introduces the topic. So again, what she's doing, fantastic. Second sentence, what she's doing is introducing one of the 2 main ideas in these pages, right? Which is hyperfocus. And she explains what hyperfocus is, right? Then in the next sentence, she introduces the second main idea, scatterfocus, and what it is, right? So first sentence, topic. Second sentence, hey, here's this main idea, hyperfocus, here's what it is. Third sentence, hey, here's this other really big important main idea, scatterfocus, here's what that is. And then the real magic to me, Susanna, of this paragraph is that last sentence reads almost like a thesis statement, right? Here, Susanna's bringing it all together, and she's by summarizing, right, and explaining sort of, well, I defined what hyperfocus is, I defined what scatterfocus is, and now I'm going to tell you why that's important, right? And a thesis statement in this kind of paragraph explains why, right? Who cares? Who cares what hyperfocus is? Well, it matters because, as Bailey suggests, when we integrate, great verb there, Susanna, integrating both hyperfocus and scatterfocus can help individuals focus and rest, and especially that last phrase, enabling people to live and work with purpose. So again, I think 4 sentences, right? 4 pretty short sentences, but in each of them, what is the author doing? Each sentence has a very specific purpose in order to explain the idea to the reader. And I think Susanna just really did that very, 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 very well. Very, very well. Really nice, really nice. Any questions about what I just said there, or understanding what I just said and applying it to Susanna's paragraph? Anybody? Layla, get in there.
Sorry, it's not about this section. I didn't receive any email from you. Do you remember we had planned to meet you today, but I didn't receive any email, or I didn't get any email from you.
Oh, I'm so sorry if it didn't get sent, or if I'm so sorry. I know today's Eid. Can you meet today? Do you want to meet today? Now we're just talking about you and me one-on-one here. But do you want to send me a chat, and we can type a private message in the chat so that I can keep talking to Susanna?
No, it's hard to chat. My bathroom something is broken. They come and fix it. My home is messy and busy.
So I'll put you.
Maybe tomorrow.
I'll keep working with Susanna here, and I mean, when I say chat, I mean typing comments in Zoom. So let me just keep talking to Susanna. I'll send you a message in Canvas in Zoom. Okay. Cool. Anybody else? Anybody about the example that we're looking at? Nadia, any ideas or questions? How's it look to you, Nadia?
No, I want to say just we need to summarize just page 220, 218, but in the first sentence, it's right in the book hyperfocus in this part of it.
Interesting. Excuse me. I think I know what you're asking. Susanna, did you hear her, or do you know what she's talking about?
She's talking
It
about
look like as summarize our book.
Yeah. Yeah. Susanna, what do you think?
yeah, in my understanding, it's like she talks about like mentioning in the chapter, in like specifically in this section. And I put it like
Yes.
in the book hyper focus. But when you say in the book hyper focus, it's like a part of it, it's like not the book hyper focus. It's in the book. So
Right.
the book has some ideas.
I think she's okay.
Katima likes it. Yeah.
Yeah, because she already mentioned the page on the
True.
yeah.
And I want to add to that, to what Katima is saying there too, is I think the other reason that this is a little bit special, Nadia, is, okay, these
Yeah.
pages that I asked you to summarize is really his whole summary for the whole book, right? So I asked you guys to summarize his summary. It's just because it's a 200-page book, his summary of the whole book is 3 or 4 pages long, right? And again, it's not just, when I ask you to read these pages, it's with a purpose, right? It's also to sort of show you how summaries can be pages long, right? When you're talking about a whole book. So I think even though it's only for this specific group of pages, the purpose, again, what is the writer's intention, right? The writer's purpose at the end of the book is to summarize. So I think it's appropriate to say, maybe if you wanted to make it a little bit sort of in the middle, Nadia, you could say at the end of hyperfocus, or at the end of his book, or at the conclusion of his book, right? Because I understand what you're saying, Nadia. We are only summarizing a few specific pages, but those pages do talk about ideas that are in the whole book. Does that make sense?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. She looked. You can say no. When I ask, does that make sense? You can say absolutely not, Jeff. Explain it better. That is totally fine.
You explain good, but I understand. Don't understand.
Well, be nice to yourself. Be nice to yourself.
Do you speak Russian?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, get in there, Susanna.
In Russian?
Yeah, please.
Это когда говорится in the book, это означает, что в книге, в этой книге он говорит что-то там, знаете, что Билли там говорит, что фокус это очень важно. Это не говорится как это общая книга, это книга об этом. Говорится в книге, в книге.
Ага.
В книге.
Понятно.
Thank you.
Спасибо.
Спасибо.
Now I
Спасибо,
understand better.
Hey, Susanna, you are. Come on now, Professor Susanna, get in there.
Yeah, you want to continue or no?
Bueno, okay. Let's look at the next paragraph.
Okay. So, because some weeks can demand more hyperfocus than scatter focus and vice versa, Bailey argues about the importance of creating a focus ritual. He advises planning to decide on weekly intentions and focus on that week ahead. He believes that the focus ritual helps to determine whether the week will be benefited or from hyperfocus or scatter focus. For his argument, Bailey brings his own example of having a focus ritual once or twice a week. This ritual helps him truly understand how much efficiency and imagination he will need for that week. I'm not sure about the imagination, but
I like it.
look out for commitments look for possible solutions that will interfere with upcoming events, etc.
Oh yeah. Okay, what do we think? Anybody, ideas or questions? Okay, so instead of just ideas, remember, like I was saying, what's the author's purpose? If you guys read this paragraph that Susanna wrote, can you notice or see what is she doing in this paragraph? Like, what is she, when she writes these sentences, what is she trying to explain to the reader? We're tired, Jeff. It's Eid. Stop making us talk. Okay. I think it's great. I'll just talk, and if people have questions, let me know. I think what Suzanne is doing here is summarizing how, right? She introduces scatter focus and hyper focus. She introduces what sort of the promise that Bailey makes to the reader to say, hey, these are things that can make your life better, more meaningful, whatever. And then the next paragraph is she summarizes him explaining how he does that, right? And I think that's great. I think that's really, really great. And I think because some weeks can demand more hyperfocus, Bailey argues about the importance of creating a focused ritual. He advises planning to decide. He advises planning to decide on weekly. Good verbs too there from Susanna. So if you guys are still writing, right? Advises, believes, brings, really good verbs to explain, to support his argument. Yeah. Bailey believes that the focus ritual helps to determine whether the week will benefit from hyperfocus or scatter focus. Really nice. Yeah, I mean, really, really, really strong. And all of this is definitely in those last few pages, right? Like, again, he's sort of explaining, he's doing his summary of the book, like Susanna explained to Nadia. Cool. Any ideas or questions about this paragraph? Otherwise, I'll just say great work. And I guess I don't want to go to, I don't want to be, what do I want to say? I don't want to sound too casual here, like when I just say great work, but I do want to make it clear for the people in the room still, people who might watch this recording. I want you're already doing it, right? As you become better readers, as you have become better readers this semester. But as you continue taking any college class, right? If I could give you only one wish or dream for your reading, it's that when you're reading a college textbook, especially, can you ask yourself, okay, what is the author doing? What is the idea that the author wants me to understand? Not just what do the words mean? That's important, right? But what is the author's intention on this page, in this chapter, in this paragraph? And I think that's why Susanna's summary so far is very effective. She understood what Chris Bailey was doing in the book, and then she was able to explain that back to us in the writing. So I'll just keep repeating about why that's so valuable. All right, go ahead, please continue, Susanna.
Also, Bailey notes that awareness of own attention can lead to greater focus and longer attention spans. He provides ideas to help manage attention and avoid getting distracted. According to Bailey, awareness gives people the ability to determine the need to enter hyperfocus or scatter focus mode depending on the problem. Train the brain to become more aware. He recommends using strategies like hourly awareness chime and few cues throughout the day as a reminder to check their own attention. As Bailey explains before, the idea of the hourly chime is to remind people to consider what they are doing and where their attention is at that moment. Bailey believes that awareness is a successful way to focus attention and increase the quality of life.
Definitely, really nice. And again, a whole paragraph here about awareness, which is really important, right? And is a huge idea in the book. And because it's a huge idea in the book, it is one that he definitely returns to, goes back to in the conclusion. One thing I want to notice, I want to say, Susanna, can you just highlight the sentence that says to train the brain to become more aware? Just highlight that whole sentence. Great. Just again, thank you, Susanna, for letting us look at your example together. But people watching the recording, people in the room with us, just this type of sentence construction. I know this is not a grammar class, right? Because we have so much work to do. I don't talk a lot about grammar and sentence construction, but this type of sentence, if you just look at it, Susanna's got to train the brain to become more aware, comma, right? We've got some phrase, some introduction at the beginning of the sentence, and then a comma, and then we get the rest of the sentence. This is such sort of like classic American college writing. So I just want to point out that this is something Susanna did really well here. Start to look for this type of sentence when you're reading. Start to practice writing this kind of structure. Not very many people are doing really simple sentences anymore, you guys. Like we looked at the examples last week, right? It's not like, I like the book. The book is very interesting. He has good ideas. He talks about awareness. You guys aren't really doing that anymore, right? But as you keep thinking about how to make your sentences more like, you know, college level, this type of construction, this structure for a sentence is just really, really normal, really common. And Susanna did it really, really well. So I just wanted to point your attention, speaking of awareness and attention in the paragraph, I'm just sort of pointing all of your awareness at this is a really good example of a sentence. And then even in the next sentence after that, Susanna has, as Bailey explained before, comma, and again, you guys know this already, but even if we see this all the time, right? Like according to the author, or in my opinion, comma, or last month, comma, even, you know, you can have little short phrases at the beginning of sentences, but this is so common in college writing, right? So just more good examples of not just how Susanna organized her ideas, which are great, but also just some little examples of sentence construction for you guys to look at. So anybody have ideas or questions about this paragraph of Susanna? All right, your favorite paragraph is next, Susanna. Bring it home for us.
As Bailey states, there are countless benefits of managing attention. He knows that managing attention effectively will help people get more things done and more control. No, something I'm missing here. And get more into control. Maybe I put, okay, I'll just put the wording over here. Also, you will, I mean, the people understand that the limits, be more productive, create more meaningful experiences, and feel less guilty about taking a break. By focusing your mind, hyperfocus will allow you to control your life at every part of your attention. By focusing your mind, hyperfocus will enable you to take care of your life and every part of your attention. I basically just did the same sentence twice.
Yeah. Well, okay, tell me, you started to, but tell me, why don't you like it?
It was first, this was the 400, okay?
Yeah, okay, so it felt too long. Okay, that's fair. Okay, that's fair. So, but
Okay.
now that you've got it, you look at it, do you like it now, or what don't you like about it? I'm just curious how the writer
Does
feels.
not feel right to me because first of all, like I just like repeated myself, and then second of all, I mentioned like I just kind of got in a direct tag again. I put the U. I didn't like put it the whole.
Not a big problem.
If I fix this, I think it will make more sense to me.
Okay. I want to ask anybody who's able to, Nadia, if you want, what is this last paragraph about? What is the topic of this last paragraph? Susanna, wait. If no one knows, I'll let you say. I love this. This is, like I said, now I'm just forcing you guys to think about the author's intention, which is so important.
About attention.
It's about, okay, look at the first sentence and choose another word in the first sentence.
Meaning, attention.
There are countless what?
Benefits.
Yes.
about benefits.
Yes, I think so. Because if you look at this, Nadia, if you look, and then we get this long list, Susanna does, I think you do a good job, Susanna, of saying you introduce this idea of benefits, right? And then he says, get more things, well, he says it in the book, and then Susanna says it in her summary. Get more things done, have more control, understand your limits, be more productive, create more meaningful experiences, feel less guilty, right? I mean, like, I just think it's still really effective, even if Susanna, you feel like maybe it wasn't necessary or it was too many words. I still think Susanna did a great job in that first sentence saying, okay, well, one thing I haven't done too much yet is explain all the benefits, right? Like, so we defined what hyperfocus is in the first paragraph, what scatter focus is. And then I told Susanna she did a great job summarizing how, right? But this part at the end, I think it's pretty darn good, Susanna, because this paragraph sort of answers why, right? Why? Why is this important? Who cares? And the argument is, well, you get all these benefits, right? There will be good things in your life. You'll get good things that happen. And then Susanna gives some of those things to us. I honestly think one reason that Susanna might feel like about this is, I talked about it last week too, I think a couple times this semester. Conclusions in American essays are, I was gonna say stupid, but
There's no, and I feel like it's open.
you feel like it doesn't end.
Yes, there is no ending. I have to conclude it, and I don't feel like it's like fully concluded.
Interesting. What do you think, Nadia? Does it feel done to you? Like, do you feel like she finishes her idea in this paragraph, Nadia?
Yes, it's finished.
I think so too.
I
Like
think-
at the end of his book, doesn't he kind of makes a big argument, right? He's kind of like, this'll change your life. I mean, he makes a big argument, you know, and I said that in this class too, you know, I mean, it's a big claim to make. And I think you kind of do this. Hyperfocus will allow people to control their life in every part of their attention. I mean, like if you wanted to make it really like boom, finish with a conclusion, you could just say by focusing the mind, you could even say, at the very end of the book, right, in the final conclusion, or at the end of the book, Bailey makes the strong argument that hyperfocus can change your life. You know, you could make that kind of big argument at the end of your summary as well, because that's kind of how he finishes the book, right? He's like, hey, do this, it'll make your life better.
What about just give me a second. So what about these notes? So it
I
says
like
here
notes.
that managing attention effectively will help people get more things done and have more control. Okay, so
I like it.
already talk about this over here.
And but remember, in a conclusion, you can repeat yourself a little, but not too much.
What about the word notes? Because I
Repeat
just
it.
wanna, you know, as he, I just want to say like as he said it, and we already know basically the word for that. Managing attention effectively will help people get more things done and have more control.
Yeah.
But not the notes, because it's like, okay, he says, and we know he says, kind
I'll
of
put it.
included.
I'll put it in the chat. Okay, what are academic ways to say like says the same thing twice? He stresses, he repeats, he
No, it's like he in what way he said it, and we already know, like he assured, he
emphasizes is good, because if you say something once and then you say it twice, then you could say, oh, I'm emphasizing this thing because I'm repeating it.
I did not want to say emphasizes, because obviously he's emphasizes, but I wanted to say, he just like said it. That's it, it's like.
Okay, so how about he repeatedly states, he repeatedly notes. Repeatedly is again just academic adverb for says it more than one time. Susanna doesn't like that one. He stresses.
He stresses.
He repeats. He stresses that managing attention effectively. Yeah. Or again, he repeatedly stresses. He forcefully argues more than one time. You know what I mean? Like, there you go. Now it's sounding real academic. You know, he repeatedly stresses. Yeah.
Yeah. Now I like it. Because not it's like
Oh, just get rid of the contraction instead of he's. Just
Yeah.
he repeatedly. He repeatedly stresses that managing attention effectively, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. And again, I think it's so great for you guys for you to share your example, Susanna, and for us to look at this example of a conclusion. And the conclusion is, I think, the hardest part of essays, because it's like, well, repeat yourself a little bit, but not too much. And I mean, it's not fun. They're not fun. I think this is successful. I think this is successful.
Yeah.
I think it's great. I think it's a very strong summary, Susanna.
Yay. So 400 word was good.
You're done. Well, you've got a little tweaks. It looks like you want to make a few other little changes, but yeah, that's plenty.
I'll just, I already kind of changed, but you know.
Yeah. How about anybody else? I don't know if we have got anybody else new came in. Anybody else have an example they want to look at?
I can read. I can, because in the paper,
Okay.
if you want.
Sure. Are you perfect? Okay, if you don't mind, just so that everybody can see. Oh, let me share my screen. Okay. I've got Nadia's too.
Okay.
Look familiar, Nadia? Okay. I'm so proud of you guys. Look at, this is Nadia's essay, 1,500 words. Susanna had 2,000 words. You guys, okay, Layla, I'm ready. I'm gonna try and type along so that we can all see it on the screen.
Yeah, I am shorter.
Oh, Nadia, stop it.
I am short.
Layla, go ahead.
Okay. Page 2012 to 215. I read it, but I know something I need to change it, because I wanted to make appointment with you and share
Yeah,
this.
it's all a process. No one is judging you, Layla. We're all students. It's all good.
Okay. In the book, Hyperfocus barely share how to bring in the Gume are the two ideas into the two ideas, hyperfocus and scatter focus, into your daily life. It's good to use hyperfocus at least once a day for an important task in your life. It is important to enter sacro-focus mode several times a day in order to connect your ideas together for the future and rechange your brain's ability.
Wait, sorry. I was keeping up, and now I'm behind. Can you back up just a little bit?
Are you right? Yeah.
Yeah. I want everybody to see. It is important to enter scatter focus.
It is important to enter scatter focus mode several times a day in order to connect your ideas together for the future and and rechange your brain's ability to hyperfocus. Jeremiah, leave her alone, please. Using
You guys are amazing. You guys are amazing. Full-time student, full-time mom at the same time. Uh-oh, I'm worried, Jeremiah.
and two dogs.
And dogs and home renovation. Layla's, I mean, she's building a house and writing an essay, you guys.
Using scatter focus, I have always problem, or hyperfocus is dependent upon your needs for that day or week. When making your schedule, you should ask yourself several questions. For here, I didn't find exact to the word, and I put it in something, I don't know the name.
Yeah.
Please, what is the name?
Quotes?
Quotes, yes.
Okay, okay.
Okay. How much productive and relative will I need this week? Or how much do I need to do to complete my task this week?
Got it.
I don't know. Okay, number 2, action plan helps to deal with obstacles. To utilizing. I don't know if this is a good word or not.
Utilize again, that word, this word you guys utilize, it just means use. It just means use, but very nice academic word. Yes. Layla, you have utilized a very nice verb there. Yeah, very nice. Yeah.
Hyperfocus and scatter focus in your daily routine. In daily routine, I didn't see anything. I think, okay. Okay, 3. How many blocks of time can I commit to hyperfocus and scatter focus? Again, this is in I don't know, I forgot again, I always forgot the name.
These are direct quotes from the book, right?
Yes, exactly. And I want to add how many uninterrupted hours can I commit to hyperfocus and scatter focus? Which is better? I use exactly both sentences, or
Well, you can't use the book sentences for a summary. You've got to use your own words. Yeah, no. You can't use the book. You can't, for this project, you can't use sentences from the book at all. Remember, paraphrase is your own words, and summary is not quoting. Now, okay, I'm a nice, loving person. If a person has 1 or 2 sentences, okay, but a whole paragraph from the book, this is a problem. Okay, let's pause. There's some things that Layla's doing really, really well here that I want to talk about, but I also wanted to say ways that we can make this even more clear. So I'm going to make this all Times New Roman. Also, I'm just proud of myself that I could type fast enough to keep up with you. I'm feeling good right now. Okay, so these were the quotes, right, Layla? The questions, these were from the book.
Yes.
How much? Okay, good. Okay, in the book Hyperfocus, Bailey shares how to bring the 2 ideas, hyperfocus and scatterfocus, into your daily life. I love the first sentence. I think it's very nice. I think exactly like we saw with Susanna's, we've got a clear topic sentence. It introduces the book, it introduces the author, and it introduces, just like with Susanna's, there are probably 2 main ideas for this summary, right? Hyperfocus and scatterfocus. Now, it is good to use hyperfocus at least once a day. Now, I will say there's something missing here. And Susanna did a good example of it, which is, Layla, do you want to guess, or I'll make people guess? What's missing? So Layla says, in the book Hyperfocus, Bailey shares how to bring the 2 ideas, hyperfocus and scatterfocus, into your daily life. It's good to use hyperfocus at least once a day for an important event in your life. It's important to enter scatterfocus mode several times a day. So before she tells us how to use these 2 things, what are we missing?
The importance.
This is what I was saying Susanna did really well. So keep this. This is great. Keep all this. It's good to use hyperfocus. But first, something like a very short explanation of what hyperfocus is.
Yes, she put what is a like define that, like the importance, like the hyperfocus and the scatter focus, but yeah.
Now, again, this is something else that drives students crazy. Again, not just you guys, not just English learners, American students, this drives them crazy too. They're like, why do I have to explain what this is? Of course you know what this is. You read the book, I read the book. But remember, like I said, Layla's going, but remember, for right or wrong, good or bad, the way that we like, I'm saying we as an American, the way that American colleges like it is, imagine that you give your essay to your friend or a person in your family who didn't read the book, right? Imagine that you're showing your summary to someone who didn't read the book. You've got to give them at least one sentence to say, hey, here's what hyperfocus is, right? And then a very short explanation of what scatter focus is or does. I'm forgetting what Susanna's was for hyperfocus, but I remember now. I'm a weirdo. I think about this stuff all the time. But Susanna did this really well. I remember just from the one we read a few minutes ago. In her first paragraph, she said, scatter focus is a creative mode where your brain makes connections between ideas.
Yeah.
Even a sentence that short, Layla, is fine, right? It can be that short, but you've got to give us, after you introduce the main idea for the first time, then you imagine that you're giving it to a person who's never read the book. You give one short sentence, what hyperfocus is, one short sentence, what scatter focus is. Then this great sentence that you've got makes even more sense, right? It's good to use hyperfocus at least once a day for an important event in your life. Well, now I know why it's important because I know what it is. I know what it is that we're talking about, right? Does that make sense, Layla?
Yes.
Perfect. And this is a little bit, now we're going like sentence for sentence through the structure, right? And it's, it's not the most interesting or exciting thing, but it is really important to help you understand. I think I said this last week too, right? When you're coming from an ESL classroom, for better and for worse, most teachers talk about how to structure each paragraph. You say paragraph 1, paragraph 2, paragraph 3, paragraph 4, paragraph 5. But remember, even inside of each paragraph, there is a structure, right? The way that you order your sentences, the way you give information to your reader, it is really important. It is really important. So I'm glad that this makes sense, Layla, because that's the dream. It's not my expectation that everybody knows this already, but hopefully when I explain it, it's like, oh, okay, okay, that's how it goes. So I'd say great first sentence, Layla, absolutely fantastic, right? Now, then you add these two sentences, right? Add something about what a short one sentence summary of what hyperfocus is, and then a short sentence about what hyperfocus is. And then you've got, it's good to use hyperfocus at least once a day for important events in your life. It's important to enter scatter focus mode several times a day in order to connect your ideas together. Now you've got this too. This is kind of explaining what scatter focus is, right? So again, weird, like this is one thing I'm so grateful that I'm a student and a teacher in 2021, right? Like instead of a typewriter, you could just move this sentence up here and start to say something like, and I see your hand, Susanna, too.
Bailey.
Something, I mean, this isn't perfect. I'm just doing this really quickly. But notice all of a sudden, Bailey defines scatter focus as an activity or whatever, right? Like Susanna said, mode or whatever word you want to use here, right? To connect your ideas together for the future and recharge your brain's ability to hyperfocus, right? And then we've got, it's important to enter scatter focus mode several times a day. And then you could say something like this. What do you think I'm going to put here? Now we've defined what scatter focus is. Do you want to guess what I'm going to suggest here? So now we're going to say it's important to enter scatter focus mode several times a day.
So.
Yeah, Susanna was saying so. I was going to say, I want this sentence now, Layla, to answer why. Why? What's the benefit? Why should we do it? Or finish this sentence for me.
Because it is important to enter scatter focus mode several times a day because.
Why? You've
know.
read the book, just finish, keep it short and sweet. Why is scatter focus important? According to Bailey, why is it important, Layla?
I don't know, my brain doesn't work.
I know you've got people. Yeah, I know. Fair enough. Susanna, I saw your hand too. Ideas or questions? Take the call, we got you.
As it's mentioned over there, it says not to connect ideas, do you see like you kind of move it over there?
Yeah.
You need to become aware. And as I didn't mind, take breaks and, um, and plan your, the future, like whatever you're gonna do.
Perfect.
You can just add those over there, but the wording also over here that you put, it is good to use hyper focus at least once a day for the reason. So
Yeah.
it's like exact the same words as
Yep.
in the book. So
True.
gotta just put it the way, like kind of like just change it with your own word, like what did you understand over there, and then say it like Bailey, like according to Bailey, or like Bailey states, or he argues that entering hyper in the hyper focus mode, like at least once a day, it will help enable some like abilities for making this type of things.
I agree with that. I want Susanna said two important things there, Layla. I'll explain. I'll just say I agree, and I'll say a little bit more about them in a moment.
To enable you become more focused.
This is just more good summary practice, right? But like Susanna was saying, so two things, right? One is, and this is what I see. I want to be clear here. Layla wants to meet with me, and so I don't think this is a final draft. This is very normal when you're writing by hand, Layla, when you're thinking about ideas for the first time. Totally normal. But when you get to the final draft, Suzanne is correct. You if you can, you don't want to say it is good to use, it is important to enter in back-to-back sentences. You don't want your sentences to look sort of the same, right? Not just saying to the book, but you're using the same structure. Every sentence begins with, it's good to use hyperfocus because, it's good to use scatter focus because, it's good to pay attention because. So just you want to have some variety with your introductions. But that's a style thing. And like I said, that usually comes, it's a first draft, Layla. It's not a problem. But I will say one thing Susanna was absolutely correct about is the more you start to practice these things, which she did really well in her example that we looked at, this is one thing that's good about summarizing is, thank goodness, it's not just on you, right? You can keep saying, according to, in the book, Bailey says, Bailey suggests, and it's a nice way for you to, what would I say? It's a nice way for you to not feel like you have to get every single idea or every single detail from the original reading, right? It's sort of saying like, hey, imagine, like I was saying, what are the authors doing? When you write a summary and you say Bailey says, Bailey argues, it's like you, the writer, telling me, the reader, or any reader, hey, I know I'm not talking about all the details. I know I'm only talking about the main idea, but that's because I'm talking about this the author's ideas, right? Now this is a little bit of abstract, now we're talking about like getting separation from the document, but it is a nice way to keep you organized and to help keep you focused on the main idea of the thing you're summarizing. So the more you can say this, like I was going to say, Susanna's suggestion was something like, near the end of the book, Bailey has a list of questions that we shouldn't say ask, that people can ask themselves in order to be more productive, in order to use hyperfocus and scatter focus mode in a more productive way, or more productively. Productively, is that a good adverb? That doesn't sound very good to me. In a more productive way. So something like this, Layla, near the end of the book, Bailey has a list of questions. Like if these questions you felt like they were important, you want to get them in, you want to summarize them or paraphrase them, a sentence like this, now you keep connecting back to the author. You make it clear that these aren't just your questions, your quotes, but you still can get some of those ideas into your summary, right? So near the end of the book, Bailey has a list of questions that people can ask themselves in order to use hyperfocus and scatter mode in a more productive way. He encourages, he stresses, he encourages people to think about how productive they need to be each week. Something like this, right? So this is another way of saying, like, this would be my sort of paraphrase here, Layla. He encourages people to think about how productive they need to be each week. That's kind of like my paraphrase summary of this first quote, right? How much production and relative will I need this week becomes, he encourages people to think about how productive they need to be each week. How much do I need to do to complete my task? To think about how productive they need to be each week and how much work it will take to finish these tasks. Something like this, right? So this, I'll put these in highlights. I'll send this document to the chat for everybody too. So I saw you take a picture, Layla. I'll send it to, I'll put it in the chat for everybody to download too. But this, now I'm making this yellow because these two sentences are an example of how to put these quotes into your own words or your own structure. Yeah? Makes sense? I know she's got a lot going on in the background. Is that clear?
Yes, it's clear. Thank you.
And I know it's always tricky, like, and not just with you, Layla, but with all students that I work with like this, it's like, okay, how helpful is it to show, to just like give people the answer? I think sometimes it's helpful, sometimes it's not. So I think sometimes it's good to see an example of how you take an idea, transform it into something differently. But again, there's lots of different ways to do it, Layla. Another teacher might summarize this in a different way. I want to be clear here. I am not the one, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not the only one. I'm not the only way to do it. When I show you something like this, and not just Layla, everybody watching, I'm sort of showing you how I think about it and do it. So I just want to be clear here. I'm not the god of academic writing. I'm just one little dude. I'm just one little dude. Did you have more sentences that you want to look at, Layla?
Okay, yes. Now where?
For Layla found, can I ask you one question?
Yeah, please.
But when we do paraphrasing, it is okay to, use the you word, right? The verb you.
I mean, again, Layla, you're busy. I'm gonna mute you again. When you find it, just unmute yourself. Again, the show, I should just be clear. For me, no. For other teachers at college or at university, they might tell you never, ever use you. So I'd say even better, Susanna, because you're so thoughtful and such a active student. If you're taking a class and you have to write an essay, Susanna, ask your teacher, can I ever use the pronoun? Because, and then you'll just know. Do you know what I mean? That teacher might be like, never, ever. Okay, now you know. You know what I mean?
It's better know never than don't know.
Exactly right. Exactly right. I think it's so fun, teachers are just people and people are weird. People have opinions and people have things they like and people have things they don't like. It's just.
The grammar.
Yeah.
Basically so similar in different, even the languages.
Yeah.
Grammar are the same. I would say that. Because it's not like I took, the English classes, because this is my first English class.
Yeah.
But the grammar, when I practice grammar, when I'm typing,
No,
like I'm good at Armenian grammar.
Yeah.
Really good in it.
Yeah.
And it just automatically, I know like it's gonna be this, because I analyze it in Armenian, and then I just use it, and I was like, wow, it's so similar. Because when I put it, and then I just go check, and then for those stuff, so it's very interesting, and I like to know like the correct ways. Like I just don't want to write it.
I totally understand. I totally understand. I totally understand. And sometimes students, and that's great. I think you're right. And I see your hand, Layla. Don't worry, I didn't forget you. I think that if you're in this class and you're watching the recording, you're here with us now and you're still like thinking about grammar or you're stressed about grammar, just know if you've studied grammar ever in your first language, second language, if you've ever studied grammar in another language, that will help you when you think about English grammar. It really will. And that's why if you come from a country where you didn't learn the grammar or the structure of your first language, it's even harder to try to learn the structure of English, right? So this is why I always tell students, be nice to yourself, you know, and if you can, I know that you're all going to finish 325 now, but, you know, take G310 with me if I can ever teach G320, because the way that I teach the grammar in G310, it's not multiple choice quizzes for verb tenses. It's we look at the structure of English sentences to understand parts of speech and phrases and clauses. And the first 3 or 4 weeks is very painful. Like because Susanna was saying, if you've never studied grammar in any language, man, it's hard at first. But once you get it, like Susanna said, once you get it, wow, like the door opens, because instead of learning one rule, you learn like a way to think about and analyze any situation, right? Any problem. It's not just like a one-time thing. So if grammar's on your mind, what's my G310 might be full now. I don't know. Let me check. Okay, Layla, I'm ready. Now I'm just checking if, now I'm just
Okay.
advertising for my grammar class in the fall if anyone still needs classes.
Grammar is amazing. I love grammar.
22 students. Yeah, I've got room for at least 3 more, and then the wait list. I've got, like I said, already 32 students in 325. Yeah, so if you haven't taken grammar 310, it's only 3 units. It's much less work than this class. Okay, Layla, I'm ready.
Okay. I continue. Daily routine affect our ability to use more hyperfocus and scatter focus. A good way to train our mind is to utilize the awareness trim.
Chime.
Trim. Is dictionary say not right, I think, again.
Chime like time. Chime like
Time.
time.
Okay, time.
I pointed it, I don't have a watch. I mean, I have a cell phone, but you know what I mean. Time like time.
Okay. The hourly awareness term or time helps you to remain aware of the state of your attention on the project or task at hand.
One thing that I love, I'll let you keep going, but again, oh, as a teacher, it makes me so happy because what Layla has in her summary is very similar to what Susanna had in her summary, right? Like, I'm just, as readers, like I remember Layla the first or second week was like, oh my gosh, all this reading. Layla, we can talk about how to make your writing better, but you read it, you understood it. All of the ideas that you're putting out here, Layla, you've got the main ideas, you've got it. And that is a reading skill. So I hope you understand and see how much more effective your reading skills are, especially with college reading, Layla.
I think my understanding is better than my writing,
Well,
because I think if I don't have a vocabulary, I don't know a lot of vocabulary, and I don't know a lot of phrase, and this is make it hard. But
yes.
I love this book. Do you remember I told you it's hard, but right now I love this book, and I have planned to again reread it again and learn more. And of course, I learned a lot of things from this book.
And I love it. That makes me happy. And I'm just complimenting you. And like I said, I'm sure the rest of the class, right? Like this skill. So writing a summary like this, as I said before, it does require both skills. It's why I have you guys do it, right? It takes reading and writing. And even though we can talk about some of your sentences and stuff like that, Layla, just the ideas that you have, just the ideas that you have in your summary already show very good reading skills. That's all I'm saying, Layla.
Jeremiah, close the door, please.
I don't know how you are multitasking like this. I feel stressed.
Stop,
Seeing
stop.
you,
Hey,
I'm stressed. You're stressing me out.
the positive benefits of managing your attention unnumberable or is not unnumberable,
Innumerable.
innumerable.
Yeah. Oh, it's only one N. Did I spell it wrong?
Is wrong?
No, I think I spelled it wrong. You didn't. I think that was me, not you.
UN, UN, UMERA.
I got it.
Yes, I think.
That was a typo.
Wait,
That was
stop.
a teacher typo. Got it. The positive benefits of managing your attention are innumerable. This also, by the way, Susanna, this would be like, this is a very dramatic sentence. You know what I mean? It could be another like button at the end of the conclusion, right? Because it is just like, it's, you know, in like pop culture, do you ever see like a mic, drop the mic? Do you know what this is? Do you know this idiom that I'm talking about? Yeah, it's like, that's your mic drop. Do you know what I mean? Boom. Like, I'm going to tell you about hyperfocus. Hey, if you learn how to manage your attention, the benefits are innumerable, unmeasurable. Boom, I'm out. So that's what I mean. He's a little dramatic sometimes. So that could be another way to like wrap up your conclusion, because he does that in the book. He does that in the book too. Okay, so the positive benefits of managing your attention are innumerable. Anything else?
What about taking the positive app and just leave the benefits of?
True. Yeah, this is a little bit, positive benefits is a little bit redundant.
Benefit. If
Yeah.
it's a benefit, then it's a positive.
You could say something like I mean, you could use a word that has even more drama, you know, but I think Susanna's right. Positive and benefit it's a synonym.
Positive benefit. Okay.
And is this, yeah, okay, go ahead.
Okay. At first, if you give full attention to your task, you can control your wandering mind. Making an effort to notice, you can do your task very good because you are able to pay attention to important matters. You can think clearly and you can become more involved. You can make, I write a lot of you.
Yes, you got to fix that. Yeah, you got to fix that.
Uh-huh.
If people,
If people,
a person,
people.
someone, this is where English is not helpful. A
Someone.
lot of other languages will let you, there's kind of like a general pronoun that you can use
Person.
here, but in English, you have to use this whole, it's not pleasant. But yeah, if a person, if someone, if we, yeah, I keep saying we. So like Susanna's, you know, asked me a bunch of times about the second person pronoun. And like I said, if you have a couple yous in here, Layla, it doesn't bother me. I like it. I love you. I love the book. I think it's great. He uses it in the book, right? But like I said, some teachers will say never, 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 never. So just a warning, just a warning, just a warning.
Excuse me 1 minute. Carol, can you go in Jeremiah's bedroom because I read loud and I think you can do anything with Jeremiah. Sorry.
Hey, don't use the second person pronoun.
I love, okay. I've lost it.
You can be more involved. You can think clearly and you can be more involved.
Oh, I can't find it.
They can.
Carol, can you find it? This, I don't know where involved. Yes, yes, I found it. You can make plan for future or next project. Which is better, future or next project?
I mean, you could do both. I mean, your future is general. Your next project is in the future, but you could put them both in the sentence.
Okay.
I'm just going to keep highlighting all the U's. Now we're on the part of the paragraph like where Susanna was talking about the benefits, right? This is like a list of all the benefits, right, Layla? Like if we think about what is the writer doing, what Layla's doing now in these sentences is summarizing the benefits, right? Like here's what you'll get. Here are some of the good things that happen, right?
Okay. Again, I lost it. Where am I?
Project, your
okay.
next project.
For future or next, more rested, connect, more ideas comes in your brain for things. Your attention is the best key or tools.
Is the best. Your attention is the best.
Key or tools.
Key is the best tool.
Tools.
No, she means like the attention is the key, you know.
Yeah, your attention is the best. I think she was saying this. Your attention is the best key, or your attention is the best tool.
Tools, yes. But tools is exactly in the book.
Yeah. It's okay. It's okay. Okay, let's talk about this.
Uh-huh.
Okay, good summarizing, but again, thinking about the structure. To me, right now, this I'm going to say a little note here. This is starting to feel more like a list than a paragraph, right? Like these are good sentences, Layla, but there's no juice connecting them together. This is like I was saying about Susanna's sentences. Like one thing Susanna does really well is those kind of connector phrases, or it's not just this thing A, thing B, thing C. It's, and you've kind of got a little bit of the list, right? You can think clearly and you can be more involved. You can make plans for the future or your next project. You will be more rested and more ideas. It's just a list of facts without the author explaining why that matters or what's important about it, right? So you could add a little bit more connection between these sentences. Susanna's maybe got some ideas. What do you think?
Okay.
I was looking at the structure and, you know, I wanted to read it, but in a different way. It says like the benefits of managing the attention are innumerable.
Yeah.
If, according to Bailey, if people give full attention to their tasks, they can move towards, I don't understand here, wandering mind.
Yeah.
Like, what do you mean when you say your wandering mind?
Yeah, I think move toward, I think move toward, this is just from doing this job for so many years. I think she means you can control your wandering mind. You can stop your wandering mind, right?
Yes, you can enable your mind to wander freely, effort to do the tasks not very well, effectively.
Oh, sorry, I mean, I'll go back here.
Yes.
So again, I'm just going to kind of highlight this, just things, like I said, Layla, I'll send this to you. A little unclear here. I think Suzanne is right. You can move toward your wandering mind, making an effort to do your task very well because you're able to pay attention to important matters. This is just a little, the sentence is a little long and the meaning is a little unclear.
Actually, and not because, and
Yeah.
enable and become able to focus on what's important. Maybe.
Yeah, I love it. I mean, again, I love it because Susanna's giving, this is fantastic, right? Like, I love it, Lila, you're getting idea. There's so many ways to do this. That's the thing I want to make clear, right? It's not like a quiz, a grammar quiz in a grammar class. There's not only one perfect paragraph. There's lots of different ways to do this. So some of the ideas Susanna is suggesting are absolutely ways to make the ideas even more clear or more focused. Yeah. I want to check in just with anybody else. Does anyone else have stuff they want to look at? So I'm sure we could keep going with Layla's, of course, but does anybody else have stuff they want to look at or ideas? I just want to make sure if people do have examples, it doesn't have to just be a private class today. I love a workshop day like this, though. Nadia, do you want to look at anything? I've got your paper. Was there anything specific in your essay that was hard?
Let's go.
You want to? Oh yeah, let's go. Okay.
Oh my goodness.
Let's do the same thing. Let's look at Nadia's summary for the same section. I love it because we'll get 3 examples of this, right?
Yeah, I forgot that it's was to lot day ago. I write this.
Hey, and now it's gone. Yeah, it was. I wrote it last week, and now I have no memory. Yeah. Do you want to read for us, or do you want me to read?
Oh, it is. Please, you.
I shouldn't have asked. I should have just made her do it, you guys. Okay.
Excuse me.
Yeah, Rafi.
Excuse me, before you start to reading, can I ask a question?
Sure.
Okay, could you explain a little page 142,
Sure. Let me pull it
the
up.
three
I'll pull it
styles
up on
of
the computer.
scatter focus?
Just meaning or what's, yeah, what?
Yeah, just meaning.
Sure.
Thank you.
Yeah, I should have had the book ready. 140, which page, Rafi?
142.
Okay. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, 142.
Nadia, and in this chapter, like in page 142, I specifically mentioned in chapter 6 of his book, Hyperfocus.
Did you?
Be more specific.
I love it.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so starting, is it this page, Rafi? I know I'm at
The
the,
three style.
okay, good, yes. Okay, I'm ready. What's your question?
Could you explain, if you have time, paragraph 2 a little and yeah.
Here? Yeah.
Yes, please. Yes.
Okay, so I'll just read this introduction and then we can talk about it. So the three styles of scatter focus. In one respect, scatter focus is an odd mental mode to write about, as you need few instructions for how to let your mind wander. While hyperfocusing can be difficult, we already spend 47% of our day in something similar to scatter focus mode without any effort whenever our focus lapses and our attention wanders. There are two ways your mind wanders: unintentionally and intentionally. Unintentional wandering takes place without your awareness when you don't choose to enter this mode. This is where I draw the line between mind wandering and scatter focus. And I'll just say, to include this, scatter focus is always intentional. For me, and I'd love to hear from other folks, he's trying to say he's making an argument that there's a difference between just like zoning out, or when, like, you know, your brain is kind of shutting off, you're not really paying attention, you don't really care. You know what I mean? Like you're not paying attention, maybe you're on autopilot mode, you're not making a choice, right? You're just kind of like not focused. And he wants to be very clear with the reader that scatter focus is like a choice, right? So if you imagine all of the suggestions that he has for you, he's for how to scatter focus or what to do: take a walk, stare at the ceiling, look at the sky, look out the window, whatever, right? He's saying make that a conscious choice. And I think he's saying that making a conscious choice to let your mind wander is the definition of scatter focus for him. So I think that's the idea between intentional and unintentional. Did you get that idea, or do you have another question about that?
Could you make an example, please? If you
Sure.
may.
And I'd love to. And I'll ask anybody too. How about, I'd love to hear from anybody who's able to. Do you guys have an example of unintentional mind wandering? Anybody? Susanna, you're muted.
1 second.
Yeah, Gatima's ready, but she's got to maybe feed the baby first. I'm not sure.
What is the question?
Unintentional. Intention means you choose to do it. Unintentional means you did not choose to do it. It just happens.
Or
So this idea of
accidentally.
yeah, accidentally. That's good. Susanna? Yeah. What, you got the phone?
Basically, when you're reading and then you just want to take your phone, it's like your mind is wondering something, you know.
Interesting.
You're reading and then like, oh, what's going on over there on Instagram, or what's going on over there on something else? Oh,
Interesting.
did
Interesting.
somebody texted me? It's like your mind is like unintentionally.
Yeah.
You're like not, doing it like.
I'll say for me, I love that. I think that's exactly correct. I'm trying to do something else and then my mind wanders and all of a sudden I have my phone in my hand.
Doing some task and then like your mind wanders about other tasks.
Yeah.
You know?
I think for me, my brain I have a lot of thoughts where I'm wondering, did I do something wrong? Did I make a mistake? Who's mad at me? What did I say? What did I do wrong? Okay, I don't have to try for those thoughts to come. Sometimes, like before class today, I was looking at things for school. I was grading. I was reading a little bit, and I'm reading, and all of a sudden, I'm like worried. Like, what's going on with my brother? Did I say something wrong to him? Like, did I make him upset? And this to me is unintentional mind wandering, Rafi. Like when my brain is off and I'm thinking about something that maybe I don't even want to be thinking about, but I'm not in control. To me, that's
It's uncontrolled.
uncontrolled, unintentional, not intentional. Now, if I feel like if I did do something wrong with my brother or want to make an apology or something, then I think he's saying, okay, I could say, well, I'm going to set a timer on my phone, a chime, for 10 minutes or something. And for 10 minutes, I'm just going to sit on the couch or go outside and look at the trees, or I'm going to lay on the bed and look at the ceiling fan, whatever, right? For 10 minutes, I'm just going to let my brain go. And any thought that I have about my brother, my family, whatever, me, all that stress, all those stress, I think my power just went out. All the stressful thoughts. Hold on, let me do one thing real quick so I don't lose the computer power. It's wild down here.
Susanna, is it an example like interruption?
Which one?
Okay.
I mean, is it, okay, go ahead.
It sounds like you had a question, so I'll let you ask instead of me just keep talking. So what's still a question?
Okay, I'm asking Susanna, is it, it works like interruption interruption or focus?
What do you think?
It's like, let's like, for example, like you're doing something, right? Like you're working on something, and then your brain, it just like automatically starts thinking about your the parents, like, okay, what they did, okay, what happened to them, something happened, and then your brain automatically starts to think about that issue, or whatever, it just like comes, but it's like at the moment you are not thinking about them, right? You're doing something else. So it's like when your brain, it's like you are not purposefully like thinking about it, like Fatima said something, like I forgot the word for it.
Control.
Yes, it's like you don't have a control of it, it just comes. That is like the kind of the meaning.
And
Thank
to
you.
add one thing, as I was plugging the power has been weird, so I have my little generator just in case, so I was plugging it in there. And this is the other thing, is it's not about a task, right? It's not a project. It's not I need to sit down and type at the computer, right? It's sometimes before you do the task, you have to think about it, right? And I think that's what he's trying to say. Some things are tasks. Some things you sit down and do. Other things you have to think about or brainstorm. So that's why for me, when I'm unintentional, uncontrolled, my brain worries way too much, right? Now, sometimes it's appropriate, like if I'm worried about work or family, those are important things, right? Now, I might need to do something. I might have a task that I need to do eventually, but before I do that thing, I have to think about it a little bit. And his idea is choose when you think about it, right? Like set a timer on your phone, look at the trees for 10 minutes, and just let every thought that you have about that worry or stress happen. And then maybe after that, you have a plan and you know what to do. And then you can choose to go into hyper focus mode if you want to do the task. But what he doesn't want is you're trying to hyper focus, but while you're focusing, your brain's like thinking about something else. And I think that's what he's saying. When you're trying to focus, but your brain is thinking about something else, then that's uncontrolled. Like Hatima was saying, that's unintentional. And his idea is if you choose to interscatter focus more often, then you'll have those distracting thoughts less often while you're working. Did I explain that okay? That still sounded complicated. Did that help at all, Rafi?
Yes, sure. Thank
Okay.
you.
Okay.
And based on your explanation, it is always like internal thoughts or factors. Okay. Okay.
That is, I think you're right, Rafi. That was the key. It took me a minute to figure it out. That is exactly right. Hyperfocus is tasks and doing. Scatter focus is sort of like brainstorming or imagination, one of the words in Susanna's summary, right? And scatter focus is imagination and kind of like planning, brainstorming, and that image, the metaphor of connecting dots. And what he promises in the book, if you do those dot connecting more often, then when it's time to go, you'll be ready to do the action. So absolutely, Rafi. Scatter focus is about sort of internal process.
Okay, thank you so much.
Yeah, that was the key. That was the key point. Great question. Great question. Anything else? Questions about those pages? A very important question from Rafi. Or should we go back to Nadia's essay? She's so excited. All right, let's look at this.
Давайте еще вопросы, а то сейчас меня будут теребить здесь.
Translate, Susanna, translate.
I don't know.
You, how dare you? How dare you? Just in front of me on the Zoom talking about class in Russian. Okay, all right. Attention from some student, maybe Nadia, who knows. Attention is very important when learning time management. Ooh, strong topic sentence, Nadia. When one notices things such as how much energy one has, what is at the center of one's attention, and how long one's mind wanders before they catch it wandering, the person can work to fix things and plan ahead to avoid unhealthy time management patterns. Ooh, really? Again, more if you're following along with me, this is a complex sentence construction here, Nadia, really nice. There are many benefits to managing our attention. We waste less time, work with more purpose, and even spend less energy, so we're not as tired. We also learn when we're able to multitask and when it is unproductive. Excuse me. Sometimes we have to use hyperfocus, which is focusing on one task and putting away all distractions, such as phone and food. With hyperfocus, we can get more done in short periods of time. Sometimes we can use scatter focus, which works better when planning because scatter focus is focusing on more things, but with less attention. With scatter focus, you can connect different ideas, rest, and recharge ability to hyperfocus. If we take note of our patterns and things we have to accomplish in a week, we can plan ahead to when we should use hyperfocus and when to use scatter focus. Really nice. Bailey does this every Sunday night or Monday morning. Okay, now my only stop. Who's Bailey? You haven't introduced him yet, but you will now. Bailey, whoever that is, Bailey does this every Sunday night or Monday morning.
It's not important.
It's what?
It's not important we talk about a specific Bailey's things or do.
It is.
It is important.
Because it's a summary. Because none of these ideas, with lots of respect to all of you guys and how you work, none of these are your ideas, right? So this is very important. You know, US College is obsessed with plagiarism. You've got to say, hey, I'm a genius. I wrote this summary, but remember, I'm summarizing this other person's ideas. Do you know what I mean? Another reason that college writing is so hard, we ask you guys to write like the experts on whatever you're talking about, even if it's someone else's ideas. So that's why, I mean, it's almost like a joke now, but like we've done this three times, right? In hyperfocus, Bailey, blah, blah, blah. Or Bailey, the author of Hyperfocus, is an attention expert and he blah, 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 right? Whatever, like this is why it's so important to introduce the author up front. And you guys can probably tell, I always am honest with you. I don't even really love this about American writing, but it is the rule and it's my job to teach it to you. So Bailey, which Nadia now has introduced at the beginning, Bailey does this every Sunday night.
Maybe I see, I know that.
Bailey does this every Sunday night or Monday morning. He takes note of all the tasks he has to do this week and plans for them accordingly. He thinks about which type of focus to use on each task, and he also pays attention to other commitments he may encounter this week. These include travel, conferences, or meetings. I'll say right away, this is the first time I've gotten to do this. Little too specific.
Mhm.
But I like all this. I mean, like, this is right on the line to me. Like, this is a little deep, but I like it because he does give advice, right? He does at the end of the book on these pages, he gives his own example about how to do it. So I like these sentences. Another thing is to consider which tasks take productivity and which need creativity, and also plan for them because one will take longer than the other. Being aware of these things help people get more done and work more effectively. You also engage more with your work and do it better than if you were not paying attention to how your attention span works. Attention is one of the greatest tools for living with intentionality. Good. This is like Susanna's conclusion. This is like the beginning of a sort of final little mini paragraph here. I love it, Nadia. Some things that Nadia did really well is, again, I'm going to use this color for highlighting.
Yeah. Maybe I think I put the first sentence and later. And
Oh, I think you're right. This one, attention is very important. Or which sentence, Nadia? This one?
no, topic sentence. When the author names
Yeah.
can
I
mention.
agree. I love this. Now, again, I think this is very clear because if we think about, okay, maybe there's 2 or 3 main ideas that we want to introduce in this paragraph. Attention and awareness are probably some of the other. Where was the awareness one? I know you've got that in there already, Nadia. Awareness with hyperfocus. Sometimes we have to use Control F. I can search in the document. Oh, maybe not yet, Nadia. Okay, so you hint at it, but we want to make, you've got it in your response. Okay, cool. Attention, or I'll put this here for you too, Nadia. Because it's kind of the same thing. It's like Susanna was saying about positive benefits, right? I mean, like attention and awareness, very similar, very, very similar, but a little different, right? Because he asks us to be aware of our attention. So hold on, let me just make sure I see what's going on. Ah, Rafi, I see in the chat. Rafi, if you're taking off, you're so welcome. Thank you. If people are leaving early, I love you all so much. I've loved this class.
Thank you so much. Sorry for interrupting you.
No, please. It's been such a pleasure. It has been such a pleasure to work with you guys. And text me, or I'll be around tomorrow if you guys need help. The weekend, I'll come and go. But if you need help tomorrow before everything's due, let me know, okay? I see Fatma. Hey, Fatma. Scatter focus. I think, Nadia, so what would I say? Great reading skills. Nadia's got the main ideas. Only one example where she's got a little bit too much detail. I think that we could probably put this as 2 paragraphs. That might help the structure and the organization a little bit. I don't know. What do you guys see? What do you notice? Susanna, does anything stand out to you?
Well, I really like the whole whatever, one paragraph that she put, because like it does definitely make a sense, and she did the same kind of mistakes that I did, putting in a you, we,
Yes.
so if she changes that, it will change kind of the structure, which will make more sense.
Yeah.
And there is a couple of sentences, if she like rearrange, like kind of change that, and I don't specifically remember where was it, but
Focus.
I think like this, like I think, I'm sorry to interrupt you. Please keep going. I'm sort of multitasking here.
Where is it?
I think something like, I think it's just a structure. This is just about organization, Nadia. And this is I swear, like I said, I've already said it twice today now, again, how to organize your sentences inside of a paragraph, I think is the hardest thing to learn about academic writing, right? How to get a sentence that has good meaning. You're perfect, Nadia. I mean, truly perfect. Your sentences are clear. The meaning is correct. The ideas that you have from the reading are there. It's all there. It is all there, Nadia. The challenge and what we really start to push in this class to get you ready for transfer level English is this type of structure that I'm talking about now, right? And I think the best way to do it is to just practice it and see examples. But I think that your organization could be even better, because if we say, this is kind of like Susanna's got really good example of structure like we started with. Now, if we move these sentences up here, well, I move them. If I move them up here, Nadia, now I've got hyperfocus and scatter focus, what they are in the first paragraph. And then in the second paragraph, I've got attention and awareness and how they're connected to hyperfocus, right? And then in the last paragraph, I've got your excellent summary of Bailey's how to do this, right? How to use these in your daily life. And then for me, I don't even know how I know this. I think it's really just from being in school for so long, like this kind of structure, organization. First little paragraph, define what it is. Second little paragraph, connect it to awareness and attention. Third little paragraph, explain how to do it. That just, if a teacher ever said flow or how your ideas connect together, that's all these suggestions. That's what this suggestion is, Nadia. It's not about meaning. It's about flow. It's about organizing your ideas in this American college way. And like I said, for better and for worse. I'm not saying it's better. I'm just saying this is what they want. This is what they want.
Thank you, Professor.
Oh my gosh, thank you. But I'm so proud of you guys. Look at how much you did, Nadia. Look at how much work you did. It's amazing. It's amazing. It's so inspiring. It's so inspiring. I love it. How about you, Nadia? Ideas or questions from what I'm saying?
Oh, it's okay. And it's okay.
Okay. Can I ask, how long did it take you to write, Nadia?
How long?
Yeah.
Oh,
Time.
this alter project, I think 1050 or I don't know.
Okay. And how many hours to do it?
Oh.
You don't want to say.
No, I know. I don't say.
Okay.
I don't note it. Not.
You didn't. Yeah, you didn't note it. You didn't keep track.
Yeah, I don't. When I have when I have time and
Yeah.
and muzu, чекай, як то муза,
Inspiration.
натхнення, yeah, inspiration.
Oh my God, I'm so proud of my.
Then I work.
Musa, was that the word musa? Is that what you said?
Muza.
Wow, that's like muse, right? Muse, like inspiration.
Yep.
Yeah.
Wow, I know one Russian. That was a Russian word I didn't know that I knew.
German are really similar. They have so much wording that they are so similar. Like
Russian and German?
yeah, I used to,
Does muse come from German then?
it's kind of, the Russian is like kind of the alphabet, and the words it's like kind of that's what I learned, that it's like a collection from all around the world, the words.
Yeah.
So it can have some Russian, French, there is a wordings.
I was gonna say, I'm gonna guess it's French, because yeah, so many times in Russian, the
But when I
vocabulary.
was learning German, I always
Yeah.
I just was relating it to Russian.
Yeah.
Make
Makes sense.
easy because since I knew Russian
Yeah.
and I was learning German, I was like, oh, these words, they are so like similar. They look like each other, or the meaning is kind of, I understand. Like, I mean, I don't remember anything from German, only a couple of things, but it was yeah.
I'm just always surprised when I see French in Russian. I just don't know very much about Russian vocabulary. I know a little bit about Russian structure of the grammar and the language, but I'm always surprised, like when I heard Nadia saying, whenever I had Musa, and I was like, inspiration? Oh, I know that's a Russian word I didn't know that I knew. Okay, that was cool.
I just learned from like the cultural. I have this class. They said like the Russian language, the words.
Yeah.
Like it's a collection from the words from another, the countries, like
Totally.
cultures. It contains it. That's why it's very easy.
I think I just always forget too that French is a very important language in human history. It's a very important, powerful language for some good and bad reasons,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I never liked that.
Well, for me it's easy because Spanish is my second language and there's so
I
much.
was taking French classes.
Yeah.
And I was good because like my pronunciation for French, and it was, I don't know why, like apparently it was good,
Nice.
and the teacher was
And
like, oh, it's so
and
good, but I did not like it. I was like, I can't, and I was like, I'm sorry, I'm just gonna drop this class.
There you go.
Yeah, and I thought, and then I didn't end up.
Life's too short to learn stuff you don't care about.
yeah. And how about another section?
Yeah, sure. I love it. Nadia's like, let's keep going. Which one?
Oh, I don't know. I
Oh,
don't know.
you
I
come on.
forgot. I forgot out what I think.
Where's
Did
your
you
Musa?
summary the other
Yeah, because I have now I
Where's the
have
other summer?
history final
Oh yeah.
project.
Nadia wants to be done.
It's
She's
very
like, let me finish. Let's be done. Okay. Let's look at the other summary. Like we were talking about, Rafi was asking. I know Rafi's not here anymore, but okay.
I know.
In the book, Hyperfocus. Yeah, there it is. Hold on. I'm just going to go here and hit Tab so that everything's indented. I'm also going to hit Control A and change this to Times New Roman, 12-point font, left justified. Oh, sorry. This should be a center. My bad. Ah.
What about the layouts?
I'm going to email this to you too, Nadia.
The layout is gonna be all one, right?
Which one? Yeah, yeah.
Emergence.
Okay, in the book Hyperfocus by Chris Bailey, in the part, The Three Styles of Scatter Focus, that's fine. Comma. The author shows when we're not focusing our attention on anything, we already use 47% our daily wandering attention. Unclear. This can be unintentionally and intentionally, while scatter focus is always only intentional. Two famous scientists, Jonathan Smallwood and Jonathan Schooler, who investigated the issue of mind wandering, refuted the fallacy. Nice, that's very nice. Refuted the fallacy that all mind wandering goes on without awareness, without attention, and proved that intention makes scatter focus so powerful. That last sentence is really nice, Nadia. This is kind of repeating. I'll talk about this sentence in a minute. This is a little unclear. The meaning is a little unclear. The author showed three types of scatter focus. First is capture mode that defines what is in our mind. Second is problem crunching mode that comprehends an issue or idea. Third is habitual mode. That is the most powerful because in this mode, while we captivate simple questions and have some plans or ideas, we can immediately work them out. We've got to separate that one. We've got to put the object between the verb and the preposition there. Okay. The author shares his experience that he's been practicing for years. Every week, he gave his mind 1 or 2 15-minute chunk of time resting and wandering freely. At this time, capture mode was turned on. At this time, comma, capture mode was turned on, and he was completely immersed in work. As a result of this experiment, he noticed high productivity and a lot of necessary and important things were done, including work on a book, Hyperfocus. Although a lot of people find this process boring, this is like Susanna's great sentence structure, right? A nice, a nice dependent clause or phrase at the beginning and then a comma, great sentence structure here, Nadia. Although a lot of people find this process boring, Bailey is sure that capture mode will make our mind wander and call to the surface of our attention useful ideas with which we can immediately begin to implement. Ooh, again, nice. You got good, the final sentences in your paragraphs are really strong, Nadia. In problem crunching mode, we use brainstorming and keep the problem in our mind, pondering it and considering it from all sides. At the same time, the solution to the issue comes unexpectedly or in a different way. The author experienced this method on himself and recommends using this for solving the most difficult problems and see how it will work in your case. The third type of scatter focus is habitual mode. It is the simplest, and the author recommends that people practice it the most often. It is that we do something familiar or habitual. Attention is not required. We have a lot of unused attention, which gives it opportunity to wander, grab ideas, and process them. Some really good, the structure, it's really interesting, this one. I'd say your structure here is great, Nadia. It's really clear, right? Like a short paragraph for each of the three modes, and then kind of nice introduction here, really nice. There's just some sentences that the meaning is a little less clear to me. Like the idea is a little less clear. I think these two are great. What do you guys think? Anybody who's still here? Susanna, what do you notice?
Oh, I noticed a lot of things, but then my mind just like started.
Got it. No problem. No worries. No worries.
Wander, scatter focus.
I was still in an assignment because while reading, I was thinking about my assignment and kind of, comparing the styles. That's why I was, but there was a couple of things that I wanted to, okay, the first of the things, like the quotation mark.
Yeah. Yeah, this is just style, but you're right. Quotation mark is a different type of formatting.
So you gotta do it
Italics.
And then the 3 styles of scatter focus as well. But
Yeah.
I don't think like you need to,
It's not a big deal. And again, I showed you guys this. It's not like I taught it, I didn't force you guys to learn it. I just kept showing it to you.
And again, like you just gotta change that, like direct talking.
I think the biggest challenge right now, Nadia, is this first paragraph. And maybe this is like Rafi was saying, it is hard. I'm asking you to summarize a kind of complex idea. But when you say the author shows, when we are not focusing our attention on anything, we already use 47% our daily wandering attention. Now I have to tell you, I don't know what you're trying to say there.
Yeah, because that's exact the wording that it says in the book. And it's not giving the meaning. Like you kind of gotta explain that in your own words, like what you got from that.
I think you're talking about, Nadia, I think you're talking about when he says that 47% of the time our minds are wandering. Is that that's the information you want to communicate? She's reading her own essay, like she said.
I don't think you need to mention like the 47% because I had that same concern, like should I mention that number, and I just put like mostly, like most of the time. Our brain wanders most of the time.
Yeah. The author explains, or something like this. The author explains that something like this. This is the idea you're trying to get in here, right? Like, this is not beautiful writing, okay? But the idea is, even when we're not trying, right? Like it just happens, right? 47% of the time, our mind is wandering. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's the idea I could tell you are trying to get at. So we are not focusing our attention on anything. We already use 47% of our wandering attention. Yeah, I think even without trying, people, and if you wanted to, in fact, a study shows that people are not focusing on a task or idea, 47%. Now, like Susanna said, is this too much detail for a summary? I mean, that's up to you guys, right? But like, I think this is the problem. The biggest challenge you've got right now, Nadia, is clearly summarizing this idea of mind wandering in the first paragraph, because I think you do a nice job. I think you really do a nice job summarizing the three modes of scatter focus. It could be a little more clear, but I still think you do a nice job. It's this first paragraph where you're introducing the main idea, because like, what are we doing in this first sec? We're almost out of time, so I'll make sure. And again, for people watching the recording, I'd say in the introduction, you should make sure to explain what is mind wandering, and I'm going to use Fatima's example. Now, again, you do this well here, Nadia, right? This can be unintentional and intentional. I see what you're, I understand now. This, when you say this, Nadia, you're saying people's minds can wander intentionally or unintentionally. For Bailey, scatter focus, and then we get this idea about only intentional, right? Yeah, I think you see, actually, as I look at this, I see more and more. In a short summary like this, I know we were talking about how long is too long and stuff, but 400 words is not a lot of words. This first introduction paragraph in a short summary like this is really important, because you've really got to communicate to the reader what the main idea is, right? And I think that's what's missing right now, is clearly explaining, Nadia, what is mind wandering and how is that different than focusing? And then you've got it already, but even more clearly, what's the difference between intentional, unintentional, controlled, uncontrolled mind wandering? I think that's a big thing to fix here. I like the two famous scientists refuted the fallacy. I love this last sentence. I really do. I love this. Yeah, this is a great sentence, Nadia. Fantastic.
Yeah, it's for scientists.
It's really
Not
nice.
mine.
What?
It's to
Is it direct quote or paraphrase?
the most scientist journalist Jonathan.
Yeah, but I like this. Who refuted the fallacy that all mind wandering goes on without awareness and proved that intention makes. Is this from the book?
Oh no.
I love it. This is what this is great. This is great. Really nice. Really nice, Nadia. Really, really nice. Cool. Hold on one second. This was Layla's. I don't even know if Layla's still here. She's got a new bathroom going in. She said bathroom, right, you? I'm checking the chat right now, but we're just about out of time.
I don't think we will have time to look at mine, huh?
No, I think we're just about out of time.
Yeah.
Your paragraph, I can stay, or if you want to come to office hours, Subzin is going to come too, and then, but if you want to come and stay for a few extra minutes, I'm happy to look at it.
What about after, the class is over? Can we just like really quickly do it?
Yeah. Like I said, office hours. I'll put in the chat. There's a new Zoom link. Is Subzina still here? Yeah, she is. So you can come with me to the office hours Zoom room for sure. Oh, hold on. I wanted to save this for Layla. Sorry, I'm multitasking, so I'm not being very clear. Save, browse. Layla had to go. desktop, Layla, edits. And Nadia, I'll do the rest of these and send them to you today, okay? For your paper.
Oh, the first
Like
sentence.
I'll look at the other two. I'll look at the other two sections, and then I'll email you this document, like with this document, Nadia, that I'm editing right now. I'll email this to you today.
Oh, okay.
Okay, cool.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Guys, that's it.
That's it. And
I just wanted to say, you know, it's such a weird semester. Usually at the end, I get to be with you and say goodbye and thank you, but I'll just kind of say it here at the end too. I just wanted to say what a absolute, I had so much fun with you guys this semester. Sometimes talking about paraphrasing is not fun, but you guys were so curious and interesting and you worked so hard. And I don't care if you were like Nadia and Susanna and asking questions every day, or you guys were here just listening and taking care of your kids in the background, or you were just watching the recording. I'm so grateful for all the ways that you were here and participating in the class. And I'll leave you with my last metaphor. For me, teaching, I always feel like the metaphor I like is like a car, right? Like I'm the driver, okay? And the classroom, the materials, the books, you know, our Zoom room is like the car by itself. But I really feel, you guys know, for me, the way I teach is you guys are the gasoline, man. Like if you guys don't show up and participate, the car's not gonna go anywhere. So thank you so much for bringing yourselves and bringing the gasoline so that, you know, after I do my little lecture, I have questions and ideas and stuff to talk about, because that's the way I like to teach. So thank you all so much. And it doesn't have to end, right? If you're coming with me to 340 or 350 or whatever, please, you have my email address. Anything you need that I can help from you. I don't always reply right away because I've got a lot of emails and stuff, but I promise you, if you bug me or you need help, I hope you know how much I care about you guys, and I'd be happy to work with you again or help you in any way that I can. So please, please, please.
thank you very much. Thank you very much, Professor.
I'm gonna stop recording now, and then I'll send the link in the chat to Sabzina and Susanna. You can absolutely feel free to come, but I'm gonna stop the recording now. And again, if you're only watching the recording, I love you too. Don't worry about it. But thank you guys, everybody. I'll see you soon.